All right, coming up on this latest episode of One Star Rewind, I get to sit down with Ryan, owner of Lake Air Pool Supply. Ryan and his family have owned this company for such a long time. They've been in Waco the company itself has been in Waco for about 70 years. They do anything and everything for your swimming pool. And if you're like me, I love swimming pools. So you need a guy like this. You need a company like this. But we will dive in to One Star and another 1-star that Lake Air Pool Supply received. You can be the judge. I don't know if they're very good or not, but jump on here and tune in to this latest episode of One Star Rewind.
One Star Rewind.
All right, we're here with Ryan.
Hello,
sir. You doing good?
I'm well. Very well.
Did you didn't bring us a pool in here? You can't do the mobile pool.
Not today.
Not today. Okay. Ryan
Comes in tomorrow.
It comes in tomorrow. I can't wait. Ryan's owner, Lake Air Pool and Supply, also known as LAPS.
LAPS, yep.
Which I think is a better term for what you do.
I love it. Yep. It's not just me. It's my brother, and at the moment, still my mom.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But in about 3 months,
it's just gonna
me and my brother only.
Yeah, mom's gonna take her final lap.
We're pushing her down the hill.
That's good. Push her down the hill. Make sure she lands kind of safely.
That's right.
But
There's
push
a
her down.
mattress.
Well, good. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, there is probably, and there may be more than two things that I want more in life, like materialistic or something. And one of them is a 1969 Camaro. That's like the top of my list.
You have good taste.
The second, thank you. The second is a swimming pool.
Perfect.
Like that's all I've ever wanted my whole life. My mom was she loved swimming. She always wanted a pool. We never had one. And so I hope one day I will get in. And if I do, I'm going to call you.
You've got this.
Okay.
I can help you.
Okay. I have an interesting kind of layout in our backyard where I've drawn it on a piece of paper before on how we would do it.
Oh, yes.
But it might be expensive or something, but I'll have you come look at it.
It will be expensive.
It will be. It will be. Why aren't they cheap, Ryan? No, I know. Well, I think they're incredible. I used to always have friends that I would specifically like get to know them because they had pools, like in high school, and then we would just like go over unannounced to their house. Yeah.
And then in college, you found a friend with a boat.
Oh, and then a friend with a boat. That's the steps right there. Well, cool, Ryan. All right, buddy. So we're gonna dive right in.
I love it.
We're gonna read the 1-star review. I actually have two. One, we'll read this a little bit long. The other one, it's a shorter one, but I think it's really funny, and I don't know why it's in 1-star review.
Perfect.
But so anyway, we got two. So Ryan, before we dive in, I have to do my rewind noise.
Perfect.
Because we're going back in time.
I've heard this.
You've heard the rewind noise? Okay, Ryan. Well, let's go back in time and let's rewind. Sponsored by Rocket Video in Robinson. That doesn't exist anymore. All right, Ryan. This review is on Google.
Perfect.
Anybody can go look at it. You did not have very many. I think you had 3 or 4 1-star reviews.
Yep.
And you had like 300 reviews total.
Yeah, just on Google.
Just on Google. This was just Google. 4.9 rating. You do an incredible job.
You almost can't get better than that.
You can't get better than that. A 5, I question if they're 5s.
I 100%
Yeah,
question.
I don't think there's a real. So you clearly are like the best in what you do. So,
thank you.
But we did find one. So Rachel is her name. Dunham. She's left 1 review. This was the only review she's left.
Perfect.
Makes me think maybe she made this account just to leave this review.
Hey, we left an impression.
You made an impression. You did. Okay, so Rachel said, now this, Ryan, this was 4 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm going to really be jogging your memory here. Rachel said, I would never use this company unless you just want to get invoices, pay them, and not be able to use your pool. We have tried using them for several years for lack of other options, but with constant issues coming up. They promise they will fix things, do a good job for several months, then right back where we started. Most recently, they came out and the very next day, the pool was empty down below the side drains and the pump is pumping air with our yard a swamp around the pump. The next day after they had come out and sent another invoice. At this point, our pool has been non-usable for 6 weeks with repeated promises of we'll get back to you. Can't get in the hot tub because it smells like fish. Water green. Hot tub remote out for over a month. This is what them coming. See, this is where the grammar gets rough. This is with them not coming every other week, continually promising it would be fixed. We took care of our pool for years without these issues. When we finally got someone on the phone about this latest debacle, all we got was an attitude. Use anyone else. And then 4 years ago, I don't know if this was you or somebody replied.
Perfect. It could have been
This
me
was
4 years
this is
ago.
my favorite part. Thank you for sharing. So you said thank you. We regret that you had a poor experience and will use this constructively to improve. Have a great summer. Just this person had paragraphs and it was just like, have a great summer. So Ryan, do you remember this? What happened? No idea.
Not even a little bit. I don't remember that at all.
Not at
but
all.
it sounds like they have a pool and a hot tub.
Yes.
And from what it's sounding like, maybe in like an above ground hot tub, like a portable like unit that we would sell that we can just bring out to the house, and a pool as well.
How do you get that out of this? How does the above ground hot tub?
Just because she was talking about a remote. And
hot
a lot
tub
of the tubs have a removable remote that you can pick up, kind of like a smartphone to do a few things.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Rachel didn't leave quite the same impression on me that we left on her.
Clearly. Well, can I always like to pick something out when we get started. So I'm failing to understand. So she says they promise they will fix it, do a good job for several months. Okay, so this in my mind was beginning to feel like this had been like several months or a year because she says it. But then she gets back to the pool has not been usable for 6 weeks. So then I'm like, well, were there promises of coming out for several months, or was it 6 weeks? So I don't understand the timing.
Like their pool was probably green.
Okay.
And they couldn't use it because maybe it couldn't get turned back to, something beautiful.
Okay. Okay.
From what it sounds like.
Sure.
And of course, there's a multitude of reasons why, things like that can happen.
Yeah.
One of the things that we like to say the most is, you live at your house and are there probably 7 days a week.
Probably.
I'm at your house, depending on what type of, arrangement we've made.
Yeah.
For an hour or two,
Mm-hmm.
or I might only be there once every 7 or 14 days.
Sure.
So a lot of the things that end up happening,
Yeah.
I don't want to say falls on the homeowner.
Sure.
But there's a lot of things that we can't do every day
Mm-hmm.
that are going to set people up for success.
That makes sense.
So
yeah.
a lot of times it can just be like,
Sure.
pools really aren't as complicated as people want to make them be.
Yeah.
And about 30 seconds of effort a day will really
that makes sense.
keep the pool guy away,
My wife works with small kiddos, ages like 2 to 6, kind of her sweet spot, and usually things that they're trying to like improve their behavior. Parent, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever come in. Man, my kid is just doing this, and it's just not getting better. So Lauren will, work with them, and they'll be with them for like an hour of like a session, and then they go home for a week. Right? Then they come back. Oh, nothing's better.
It's all
and
over.
it's like, well, did you do these things we talked about? Well, not really, but it was, we're here with that hour with you.
Right.
It's like, so if you're not doing this at home,
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
Same thing. Can't
same
brush
thing.
your teeth once a week.
Can't brush your teeth once
and
a
be
week.
like, it's still minty fresh, baby.
I tried that, Ryan. It doesn't. The dentist doesn't like it.
We've all tried.
We've all tried it. Okay, so talk to me about where she talks about the water is. Okay, so most recently they came out, and the very next day the pool was emptied down below the side drains, and the pump is pumping air, and our yard is a swamp, and the pump or whatever. So is it the pump is like pushing water outside the pool?
So
I don't understand.
Of course, in here, like we're going to speculate because
we speculate all day.
This is old enough that I don't remember the whole situation.
Ryan, we love assuming and speculating on this podcast. That's what we do.
Come back.
Yeah.
So with that, I would say that there's a couple of things that probably happened. Someone
Sure.
could have left like a valve turned and like backwash or rinse, which is literally going to pump the pool dry.
Yeah.
Or it's going to help that pump suck air, like she was saying. Or a hose could have blown off of a secondary pump.
Sure.
Which makes for a great Old Faithful geyser in your backyard.
Okay.
Which can be seen by all of your neighbors.
Just spewing.
And it will empty a pool very quick.
Oh my gosh.
And that stuff usually happens at nighttime while you're asleep.
While you're asleep.
So you wake up and you're like, where's it at? I don't know.
You go for that morning swim and there's nothing in there.
It's all over.
So not to get too like nerdy on me, but so you have your pool, okay? And then there's that pump off to the side, right? It's always like behind a fence or behind a hit or whatever.
Yep.
So the water is like the pool water is going from the pool into that pump.
That's right.
It does its thing in the pump or filters it or something.
Yep.
And then it goes back to the pool.
It's coming back.
Okay, so that's like the layman's term for what's happening in your pool.
Yes.
So your water's constantly always...
As long as there's, a pump is turned on, we got water movement all the time.
All the time. Got you. Is that so? What's the most complicated part of a pool? Is it the actual like constructing of it?
The owner.
The owner?
Yeah, seriously. Like really and truly, I mean, all of this stuff is just a little bit of concrete and, a little bit of electricity. And we're just moving water, from a pump through some sort of a filter, whether it's like sand or, a cartridge, and then coming right back into the pool. So it looks complicated and it can be scary because, I mean, pool equipment can be pretty wild depending on what type of features you have.
Okay.
So really, it's the owner that makes it the most complicated. And that's really just because they go out there and they look and they're like, I don't have a clue. There's pipes going everywhere. So it's hard to follow like where water is going and why it's going there. Yeah. And so people are like, I don't know what I should be doing. Let me turn this valve. Let me turn that valve. And then all of a sudden, our phone rings because there's something's wrong. Something's wrong.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime, rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What are we doing here, Rusty? What are we going to do?
Yep, we're doing the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. Yeah, so we're going to go through one episode at a time. Come along for the ride with us.
Come check it out.
And give me a good like Dale Gribble quote to go out on. Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo.
Wingo. All right. Well, join us for the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
Can you tell now, like, because she mentions we've tried using you for several years. So I love how she has several years, several months, 6 weeks. Like, there's all these different time frames. But so can you go look at a pool? Someone calls you and says, hey, we're having problems.
Yep.
And you didn't install it originally. Like, this was not your original job.
Yep.
You go to it. Can you, like, of all the companies in town, can you see it and you're like, oh, I know who did this? You don't have to say them.
Oh, I know. I usually can look at a pool and 100% know who built it.
And know who built it.
Because builders have styles.
Sure.
Just like, if you were drawing or you were an artist or you're handwriting, you know, like you have a specific style with that.
Sure.
And we see that same style depending on what builder is, you know, building the pool or what their lead designer, you know, does. Everybody has their artistic like flair.
Okay.
And that's even if you say, hey, I want, you know, bar stools in the pool and this feature and that feature. You're just giving me a laundry list. And then, yeah, when we go up, I can totally
tell.
90% of the time.
So do you think so if they try to get a hold of you for several years because there's a lack of options, is that just like, hey, we can't get out to you right now?
I think it sounds like maybe they wanted to go on pool service.
That would be like a monthly thing?
Like we're like recurringly coming out like either weekly or every other week. We were offering monthly at the time when she was writing that.
Okay.
And we notoriously stay full. All, you know, which I wish I had enough people to never say no.
I imagine.
I want to say yes all the time. No is the worst word ever when it comes to being in business.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so we always have a waiting list, which is great and not great at the same time.
Yeah.
Of course, I want to help everybody.
Sure.
So it sounds like that's probably what it was. She had wanted to be on the list to try to use this for service.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's no telling what happened that day. From the review, it sounds like maybe we might have come up short.
Maybe
there could have been something that happened. Rachel obviously was having not the best day she's ever had.
Yeah,
if that's the only review that she's left.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's usually having the best day they've ever had when they decide to leave a 1-star review.
Usually,
somewhere.
These are usually left. You're so right. It's when you read them, especially one like this that's. And I was kind of joking about her grammar. It's really not that bad compared to other reviews that you read. But she's pretty like it is. It's a moment of frustration.
Yep.
It's probably right after.
As soon as she got off the phone.
Right after you got the phone.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe she smelled the hot tub, smelled like fish.
Yep.
And she was like, I'm leaving this review. So it's pretty detailed. And I don't take it as like a fake review. I don't think this is like a competitor leaving
I don't think it is either.
I think this other one might be. But this one is not. And
Rachel, we're sorry.
Rachel, it just happens.
We want to try. I hope that Rachel's on our service now and
she might
she's
be
loving life.
She might be. Well, okay, so it's a good transition. So you're the service part of it, starting the business. I mean, take me back, Ryan, so always has been family owned. Tell me about you. How'd you get into this?
You know, I guess I was born into it, as they say. You know, like some people marry into these things. I was born into this empire.
Cool.
Here, you know, so really, my brother and I, we got into it just because when we were younger, we had finally gotten old enough to like stay at home.
Okay.
You know, by ourselves over the summertime.
Yeah.
You know, mom and dad both worked. My mom probably at that time was working for. Gosh, maybe I don't even know. There was this company called SMI. I don't even know what they really did.
Okay. Here in Waco?
Yep.
So you're from Waco?
Yep, from Robinson. Born and raised.
Cool.
And then my dad was working for Lake Air Pools.
Oh, cool.
So which my granddad and his best friend owned.
Wow.
So, you know, he's son-in-law, works at the store.
Okay.
You know, my brother and I finally have gotten old enough that we can like be at the house, or maybe we weren't old enough to be at the house by ourselves. That's really where it was at. So, so they would always come into the store early. They would get their list together, get everything ready. They would come back by the house.
Okay.
Just to like grab like lunch or whatever they needed for the day. My granddad lived next door, so he would like let out the horses, like give them like a little hay for the day.
Yeah.
Get a snack, and then either my brother and I would go with my dad or my granddad. So one of us would just go with the other
one. Okay.
And they were getting free work.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we're like 10 and 11.
Like, how much are you really doing?
I'm not real sure how much we were really doing.
Sure, yeah.
But we were starting to learn the business from a super early age. I mean, I remember swimming in people's pools while my dad was cleaning them a long time ago. And that's when I was really young.
I love it, yeah.
But we did that forever. So, you know, by the time that my grandparents and their business partners were ready to retire, and my parents bought the business in 2006, my brother and I had been doing this already for forever. I mean, I don't want to say we had our masters in it or anything,
but really,
man, we had been doing it for a long time.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so now here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, however many years later.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just turned 40. My brother's like 36. 37, 38.
Yeah.
And man, we have been doing it for 25
yes.
years, you know,
Yeah.
now. So now we do have our master's degree.
Now you
in
totally
this,
do.
which is really fun.
Yeah.
The best part about us buying the store and my
Yeah.
brother and I kind of being like behind the counter and we were fresh faces,
Mm-hmm.
were people, you know, who had been coming to the store forever. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been around since 59.
Sure.
So we've had a long time customer base here.
Crazy, yeah.
You know, people would come in, they're asking us what's going on, how do you do this, you know, any of these procedures, and we're like, all right, here we are, this is it.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. And they're like, maybe if I could talk to Spencer still, just to make sure. And I'm like, yeah, hey, no big deal. And I loved when people would say that.
Sure.
Because I already knew that I was right. Been
Yeah.
doing it forever.
They're going to validate exactly
and so
what. Yeah.
I would just go get them. They haven't heard any of the conversation. And when it's almost verbatim coming out of their mouth, you know, so the moral of the story is it took people kind of a long time
Yeah.
for them to really trust what we had. And I don't blame them.
Sure.
When I roll into somewhere and there's this
Yeah.
18 to very young 20-something
Yeah.
telling me what's up on
Yeah.
something technical or really expensive,
Yeah.
I'm scratching my head being
Yeah.
like,
I'm probably.
do you really
Yeah.
know?
Do you really know? I'm probably calling Spencer too. Like,
Absolutely.
Who did you send out here?
I
you know?
absolutely am calling
Yeah.
Spencer. And, you know, and I lived through this and I
Sure.
still am the same way. And
Yeah.
it's because when there's something expensive in your backyard
Yeah.
that you made a big investment in,
For sure.
you would really like to have the best advice
You would.
possible.
Yeah.
And
And
nobody's really trusting
No.
16, 17, 18-year-olds.
No.
Barely to drive,
Barely.
much less to
To
tell them what's
Come
going
fix
on
my
in your pool.
Well, and I lump it kind of into the same realm of like if you're calling like a HVAC service.
Yep.
You're not calling them in December when you don't need your air conditioning. You're calling them in July when it goes out.
And you needed them 3 days ago.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm dying in here. So I think I want to go out to my pool. I want to swim. It's hot or whatever. We got people coming over for a party.
Yep.
Something's not working. We need something to do this now.
We did it now.
So you get the 18-year-old showing up, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to the whole ball game. And we kind of try to talk about this all the time. Is when the phone rings, most of the time there's not going to be somebody on the other end with a smile and is super excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
They've got a problem.
Yeah.
You know, and something that they love or they need fixed right now is broken.
Yeah.
And they needed it fixed
And they
yesterday.
need to do it.
And then we tell them something like, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
So yeah, and then they're like 1-star review.
Yeah, seriously.
So okay, brother's name is what?
Cody. Yep.
So Ryan and Cody, what would you say as far as just running the business now? Just what do you do? What do you think you do well? What does Cody do well? Like, how do you guys balance each other out?
So-
and then mom too.
Yeah,
She's still there.
She is still there.
Mom's
She's more like in the back in the accounting department. She's never really been part of like the pool knowledge base. She's bringing more of like the accounting side where she's kind of had more experience through other jobs.
Yeah.
But where Cody and I complement each other the most is that he is very technical.
Cool.
So he can go out there and, for lack of a better term, turn a wrench.
Yeah.
But anything with like
cool.
electricity or plumbing or automation, just like real technical stuff that I would have no idea about.
Okay.
And whereas I can talk to anybody.
Sure.
I'm a natural sales guy.
Yeah.
You know, like I can be your best friend. I can turn a problem
Yeah.
into a smile.
Yeah.
You know, and so we
Love
really
it.
balance each other out
That's
because
good.
he's got like a lot of brains on the technical. We can
Sure.
make this happen.
Yeah.
And I know how to tell somebody what we're going to do, how we're going to do
Cool.
it, what type of time frame,
Sure.
and make you feel
Well,
pretty good about it.
I mean, I want to get a pool now. I mean, I led with I clearly want one, but now I just think let's really do one, Ryan. You're doing your job.
I'm going to go get the bulldozer as soon as we
Go get the
leave.
bulldozer. Call Cody. Let's get it going.
Yeah, we're going to go.
Okay, two questions, and then I want to read this other review. And these two are probably questions you get all the time, so don't roll your eyes. But the first one, what is like what's the craziest thing? You roll up to a pool, and there's what in it, or what like an animal, or like it's purple.
We've
like,
seen it all.
Yeah.
We have seen it all. We've pulled, no kidding, we've pulled cows out of pools, dead ones.
Oh no!
That particular instance, this pool was covered. Cows got out. They got into the yard. They stepped onto the cover and went through.
Oh,
and they went in head first, and butt and legs never made it all the way through. They weren't coming out anyway.
Oh, dang!
But we've gone to pools that people have called and said, "Hey, pool hasn't ran in 1, 2, 7 years." You get there, it's black, and of course you're going to drain that. And we have pictures at the store where we had drained a pool.
Okay.
This was when we were younger. Drained a pool, and we're literally pulling like hundreds of like duck eggs out, bicycles, tires, limbs, mannequins, everything that you can. I mean, like, and you would be like, this was a frat house.
Yeah, sure.
There's
yeah.
a reason why it looks like that. And then you go talk to like Mrs. Jones, and I'm like, I wish I would have been at this party.
Why was I not invited?
You know, there's no telling why does the pool look like this for so long. But yeah, the real thing is, I mean, we've seen it all. Cars have been in pools.
Oh.
You know, somebody accidentally drives through. We had this not long ago. It wasn't in the pool, but we get a call from a guy. We're going to go do an insurance claim because pool equipment's on the back side of his garage.
Okay.
And we've all done this. We just all haven't had it happen all the way.
Oh, no.
Hit the gas instead of the brake, went right through the garage, ran right over all of his pool equipment, demolishes everything.
Oh, no.
And it's just like, oops.
Oh, that's just like your heart would just sink. And then
man.
you're just like, well, now we got to repair it. Was the water gushing everywhere, too?
Everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
I picture it then going into his garage.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
just going everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know? So then, how do you stop that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we went to somebody's house yesterday that they had called, and we don't know why this happened, or I don't even know if it was necessarily like pool equipment related.
Sure.
But there was a fire,
Okay.
and it burned all of their pool equipment. It almost crept up to the propane tank next to the pool equipment, which is like real scary.
Then the party would have really started.
My gosh,
oh my gosh.
yeah. And this was a call I'm getting at like 7 o'clock, you know, like 2 nights ago. And I'm just
Jeez.
like, I was like, the fire department never came.
Yeah.
People never saw flames. And we were there yesterday, and like there was a tree that scorched about 25 to 30 feet tall.
What?
I'm like, so there was a massive fire
And nobody
in this
was
man's
called?
yard. No one was called.
What?
No one saw it. And his son just so happens to be living down the street, coming to check on his dad.
Yeah.
Walks there. It's only a couple hundred yards.
Dang.
And the fire's just out. Nobody's put it out. It's just out. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Man.
Right now, it's a 2022 mystery.
that needs to be its own like story.
I can't remember the guy that used to do Unsolved Mysteries,
Well, yes.
but we need to call him.
Oh my gosh! I picture like if they had one camera in the backyard and you just see something real funky happening, and like you kind of.
I'm just like, it
hair
could
stand
be
up.
a cigarette. It could
Ooh,
be an
yeah, it could be
ember
all-
from somewhere else, or there could have been some wiring that
That
happened.
happened.
There's no telling. but
Dang, propane. That would have been nuts.
It would have been a neighborhood problem.
Neighborhood problem. Somebody else would have been called.
Oh yeah.
Okay, my second question. So, what's the craziest pool that you've ever built for somebody?
We actually don't build pools.
You don't build pools. No. Why did I think you build pools?
Everybody thinks we build pools, but we did used to build pools.
Okay,
we
long time ago?
We stopped building pools about 30 years ago.
Okay. So not that long ago.
And
No,
so what really happened there
Okay.
was going back to it being a family business.
Sure.
One of the guys that works for us is my cousin.
Okay.
And it was his granddad that actually started the business.
Okay.
Which was my granddad's brother-in-law.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so when he was ready to retire, my granddad and his best friend bought out the retail and service side.
Okay.
My great uncle and his best friend,
Sure.
who also was his brother-in-law.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, this is a crazy family
It's all
dynamic.
Okay. Keep it track.
They bought the construction side of the business.
Gotcha.
And so they took over construction, and we just
Did
hung
service.
out on service.
I like that. Okay.
You know, there's no telling what the future holds.
Sure.
And we may get back into that, but
Yeah.
we're feeling pretty good about where we're at right now.
Are they still doing the construction
They
side?
just closed
Okay.
about a year ago.
Dang. I if I was gonna own one of the two businesses, give me yours.
Oh, dude.
The service side.
On a whole
Right?
nother level. Yeah. I really love doing this more than digging holes. There's I talk to so many people about their experience with their pool builder.
Yeah.
And you know, like when it comes to construction, nobody's having a good day.
Sure.
I mean,
No.
have you ever built a house or renovated a
Yeah.
house?
Oh yeah.
Nobody's like, I loved my contractor, and every day we had like a McMuffin and coffee
It all
together,
went
and we
so
got it started, and
Yeah.
it was wonderful. Man, it's one nightmare after another.
It was under budget,
Yeah.
finished ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's never
said
happening
nobody
like that.
ever. Yeah.
Nobody's having fun. You know, most of the time, nobody's friends with their pool builder
No.
afterwards. Just because you
Well-
run into so many hiccups.
Oh my
and
gosh.
we
yeah.
don't necessarily have that.
Sure.
So I'll take that
Yeah. Let them hit
less stress environment
Sure.
any day of the week.
Yeah, let them hit the gas lines and
Absolutely.
the water lines. And,
Yep.
Well, so who is? And maybe this is if you want to plug someone right now. But is there a pool builder in town that you are like? I mean, because I imagine it's kind of this business marriage, right? Like client calls and says we want a pool. Well, clearly someone has to, if it's not already there.
Yeah.
Someone has to build it, and then you do all the filtration, the pump
It
stuff.
has kind of been there's been such a merry-go-round of like pool builders come in and out.
Ryan, there's nobody. I see your face.
I mean, there's good people out there, and really, like Aquanauts. There's a guy named Toby McCarver. They're out of Lorena.
Okay.
They've been building pools for, I mean.
Oh, that's the thing off the freeway.
Yep.
I always see that pool.
Yep, that's exactly.
Up at the air.
That's Pools 1, 2, 3. That guy does fiberglass. I'm not 100% here, so I'm going to plug this guy's name, even though I'm not 1,000% sure that this is who it is.
Okay.
I think his name is Jerry Perryman.
Okay.
He used to own an above-ground pool company in Robinson that he ran out of his house.
Gotcha.
I don't know why he got out of that side of it, but this is a fiberglass company, the Pools 1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
And I personally really like a fiberglass
pool. Okay.
But Aquanauts in Lorena I've had lots of people tell me that they've built a good pool and that they had a great experience. I've had lots of people tell me the other side of that too.
Sure.
But like I said, it's a 50-50 with any pool builder on what type of experience you had.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, I don't know. Oh, there's Crystal Clear. They're in Robinson and Lorena. They build a really nice pool.
Okay.
There's Ocean Quest in Belton,
okay,
who has built a really nice pool, more upper echelon pool. Although these days, like if you're putting a pool in the ground, it's all upper echelon. It's all upper, because you're probably not building one for less than $80,000 to $100,000.
You're already fully committed,
which is another reason why I'm glad I'm in the business that I'm in. Yeah, because I'm not having to ask for $80,000 to $100,000. We can just get in there, get you taken care of, like make it happen, and then we can help somebody else.
And everybody's going to need service at some point, like either like you said, the monthly or weekly, or repairs or maintenance. Like you got to maintain your pool if you're going to have one.
You do have to. Somebody better.
Somebody has to.
Or you're not going to be, or you're not having Jimmy's 5th birthday party.
It's not happening.
It won't.
Yeah. Corey won't be crashing your backyard to go swim in your pool.
I think that's the next podcast. Corey's backyard crashing podcast.
I just bring a mic with me I just jump in someone's pool.
I think it's great.
Do you like an interview with somebody while in their pool?
I think we should do some interviews from the hot tub.
Oh, Ryan. Okay. I'm serious. Are you serious?
I film a lot from the hot tub, so yeah. I think that would be really cool.
I love this idea. Like it's like the hot seat, but it's the hot tub.
Absolutely.
Oh, and you ask good questions. Okay. All right. We'll get to that later. Okay. I want to get into the second review.
Let's do it. Yep.
But man, now my head's going to be on that now. So, okay. The second one, again, this one was kind of funny. I don't know. Well, I don't know if funny is the right word. So 2 years ago, Ronnie Gwynn, I can't say his last name, Google review. He's left 4 reviews. I looked at him. He had 2 5 stars, another random 1 star, and then this one. Okay. So he's left some reviews. Ronnie said, went there for a pump part. They didn't carry that particular brand, but they looked up what I needed and gave me the part number and told me we to get it. Probably where to get it. Told me where to get it. We definitely will go back and recommend LAP. End of review. They recommend you. You told them the part number.
How many stars did we get?
1 star review.
Man.
Your replier, somebody's 2 years ago, Ronnie, so glad we were able to get those part numbers for you. Wish we had your part and that we left such an impression. Enjoy the pool, my friend. So your review was awesome. You didn't even mention, or it was you or whoever, mentioned the fact that like, hey, Ronnie, I think you misclicked on the review.
What are you even supposed to say to those things? I don't know. And in all reality, I'm not a big review leaver myself because I think most of the time when you leave a review, you've probably had a bad day.
Usually.
Because usually nobody's like, I'm giving that 5-star review right now.
Yep.
And I think that nobody ever reads responses.
No, they don't.
So, no matter what I was going to say to Ronnie, Ronnie was never going to see it.
Ronnie never was going to see it.
And it doesn't matter if Ronnie was awesome or cool.
Yes. We've done, I think, about 40 of these now. And only one review or business owner I've had on had the review. It was, 1 star, of course. They replied, or their husband replied.
Yep.
And then the reviewer went back and edited their response or their review to respond to the owners, and it was starting to get into this like back and forth.
Oh,
that's like very rare. It's very rare. Usually they don't even read it again.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to see it.
Nah.
Of course, there's been a many of time that I've been at the computer, sweating, teeth chattering, wanting to go insane because of something that somebody said. Because most of the time, when a review gets left, it's probably blown a little out of proportion.
Yes.
And we all know that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, how many times do you look at a 1-star review and you're
Oh.
like, everything that person said is so on point and true?
Yeah, never. It's never that way, or really the other way. There's always...
You're not even looking at the 5 stars.
Nah.
I mean, you can look at a 5-star review and be like, that's somebody that they paid.
Yeah.
Or, nobody's...
No. There was this, this is so random. It was last night. It was on Facebook, and it was an ad, a sponsored ad had popped up.
Yeah.
And for I won't say the name of this group or organization, but I had never heard of it. And I was like, oh, but that doesn't surprise me that that's going on in Waco. It had to do with like purchasing homes, paying cash for homes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they had a video. And so I watched the video. It was like 30 seconds. It was hilarious, this video. Anyway, so then I just clicked. So I was like, man, I wonder if they have any 1-star reviews. I just would love to have them on the show. So they had no 1-stars. They had like 46 reviews and a 4.8 rating. And all of them were like between 5 and 2s.
Yep.
But you start reading the reviews, it had nothing to do with their business. It was like, man, I got Bitcoin at a deal. And it was like, what? And it was all like, so I think they had either like paid for a review or had some sort of system that was like boosting their review system or their review score, but it wasn't anything to do with paying cash for your home.
I think that you might see that a lot because being that you're in the business of
reviews.
But I think a lot of people would be surprised that no one reads. Not a lot of people are reading reviews.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at how many reviews does this company have?
Sure.
What's their star rating?
Yep.
And that automatically delivers some form of like warm feeling in the pit of your stomach that you can trust these people.
For sure.
And I would think more times than not, if you actually read some reviews, you're going to catch a lot of stuff that has zero bearing, completely false.
Yeah.
But companies know if you can get, enough stars, that there's this trust that's automatically there.
4.9, I will go with them. Yeah. Because I think so. We read 2 1-star reviews for you. The one, kind of the ridiculous long one, that one that wasn't even really a 1-star. And then there was another one, and I didn't screenshot this, but it made me think it was from a competitor.
Okay.
And the only reason I think that is because they mentioned, they're like, service wasn't great or blah, blah, blah. Go to this other company.
Yeah.
They'll treat you right or whatever. And it was like, usually when you see the plug for another business, 9 times out of 10, it's maybe not the owner of that,
I
but
agree.
Sister, cousin, next door neighbor, something like that. It always feels fishy. Just a little bit.
Oh,
I won't read it.
I
but
totally agree.
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of weird. In the past, I used to really, really worry about what our reviews looked like and trying to, like Waco's kind of been on a, you look at places all over, like other states or other stuff, and you're like, man, these people have crazy reviews.
Yes.
And then you get to Waco and you're like, nobody in Waco's leaving reviews.
Yeah.
Like it just hadn't really hit here.
No,
yet.
for sure.
It has now.
It's caught up.
But we're talking about like maybe 6 to 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was so worried and was always hustling for reviews and trying to do it and like trying to make sure that, other companies that did what we did weren't going to be the ones in the limelight because, and here I might be biased as I own one of these companies, but I feel like we are the best.
You are?
We've been doing it for a super long time.
Yes.
And now man, to tell you the truth, the only thing I really care about is what we got going on.
Yeah.
I don't care about what my competition's doing.
Yeah.
I'm really on this level of the only competition that we have is within our own doors and ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing.
Yeah. I always heard this saying, like, if you focus on the customer, not your competition.
Yeah.
And that you do that, that's what provides the best service. You look at your reviews overall, they're incredible. Even just driving, when I'm going down Franklin, you're there on the ride as I'm coming into downtown. I feel like you have like 50 vans.
Dude,
like
if you drive by our place on a
crazy.
Saturday or Sunday, and we have 20 trucks on the road now.
Be crazy.
On top of the people that work in the office.
Yeah.
And we're growing. We're growing every year. We could grow faster if I could find more people that wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Which everybody's struggling in that category
everybody.
right now.
Yeah.
But to tell you the truth, I find it kind of funny that even when I drive past the store on like a Saturday and Sunday and I see all of our trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm there every day and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
We're doing something.
Crazy. And
we're doing something.
It's showing,
big.
progress. And if you didn't do a good job, you wouldn't be at where
we
you're
wouldn't
at.
be where we
you
are.
Wouldn't be.
And one of the things that I like about us the most is pretty much my entire crew has been there for, I mean, I got people that have been there for 25 years, 10 years. Most of the people that work for us are not just a couple of years in. They're 10 plus years in. Which means they're vested. You know, we just try to create an environment that we can have a little bit of fun while we're at work
doing
too.
it.
You know, like this is serious business. And we need to know what's going on. But if we're going to spend 8 to 12 hours a day somewhere, man, we better like each other and we better be having some fun. Or I don't want to be there.
I don't remember his name. He has like longer hair and he wears like a headband or bandana or something. But
at my place?
Yes.
Okay.
So we
his name is Brian.
Brian, that's his name. He is Brian. When Pokemon Go came out. Yeah,
this is definitely Brian.
So I had gotten. I was like, I don't want to play that game. And then a friend of mine, okay. They were gonna say, hey, we're gonna go. We were walking our dogs, and they're like, hey, let's just download the game and catch this thing. So I'm like, all right. And then I just, for whatever reason, I just got so sucked in. I think it was like the walking around. It was like playing a video game or whatever, but you were outside. And I thought that was such a cool concept.
It is a cool concept.
It is a cool concept. I don't play it anymore, but it's right when it came out. And I was so into this, Ryan, like crazy. And you know, they had the teams, right? You had your like the yellow team, the blue team, and the red team. And I think I met Brian doing like a raid or catching or whatever. And we would just start seeing each other around. And he's the nicest guy. And I remember him saying, I work for a Lake Air Pool. And I was like, okay. And then I saw him not that long ago, and he still was wearing the shirt. And in my head, I didn't think too much of it, but I was like, oh, he's still working for that same company. That's cool. I mean, and that's just one.
Brian's been there for a long time now.
Example.
And man, Brian is such a great guy. That's great. He brings a lot of life and a lot of love to the party, and
I love that you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Absolutely. Well, I might not have, except for Brian and I worked really close together in the hot tub side of the business for a long time. And so I didn't know you at the time, but your name was probably brought up because he would get real excited and come in and be like, Brian, let me tell you about all these Pokemon that we caught last night and all of this. And I'm like, that's great, but what about us getting this together for Mrs. Jones today and like the delivery and what's going on?
Hot tub going?
And so
I love it.
Yeah, Brian is great. And Brian is still the same guy.
Good.
He's not playing Pokemon Go.
Good,
now.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's playing something else.
Probably something else.
But
I think
still just as passionate about life as ever.
Good. Well, I love it. Well, Ryan, final thing.
Yes.
We always end with this. So I get to be Rachel.
Perfect.
Dunham, the 1-star reviewer. I'm in the studio. I'm in the studio right now.
What do I want to say
to
Rachel?
What do you want to say to Rachel? My backyard's a swamp. My hot tub smells like fish. No, my pool's probably good now. But is there anything you would like to say to me before we leave?
Really and truly, I would just probably just say like if we did come up short, that we are extremely sorry. And hopefully we've learned something from what she left and told us and what's going on. So just have a great day and give us another shot. Really
cool.
There's and not to digress here much, but we went to a conference a few years ago and there was a lot about reviews going on, and there was a guy there who had written a book called Hug Your Haters, and it was all about how to deal with people who have given like 1-star reviews, and how to turn those people into your biggest advocates.
Really?
They had given an example from like a coffee shop where somebody had left a bad review about like their coffee or something that had happened like as like an employee, interaction.
Sure.
And instead of like getting wild and being like, that person, sucks or doesn't know what's going on or la la la. Called this person, had like a little conversation with them, gave them a gift card back to the place, and was like, we would really like to try again, and we would love your feedback. We want you to come in a handful of times and continue to tell us where you feel like we might be coming up short so that we can be better.
Dang.
And I was like, man, mind blown.
Wow.
And then I thought, Lord, I don't know if I have the patience for that.
Hugging your haters is so much easier said than done.
You are not kidding.
I'm gonna look that up. Maybe he'll come on the show.
His name is Jay something another.
Jay
I've got his book. After this, I'll figure it out.
We'll find him. Okay. Yep. Well, Ryan, it was a pleasure.
Yes,
thank you so much
time today.
for coming on here.
Yes, thank you.
All right, buddy. Have a good day.
All right, bud. Thank you. Absolutely. That's awesome.
Nice.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.